Have you ever wondered what really happens when a simple question turns into a moment that leaves an entire room in silence? A silence so powerful, so unexpected, that even seasoned interviewers don't know how to respond. What if that moment came from none other than Jungkook, the golden magne of BTS, the one millions admire not just for his talent, but for the depth of his heart? Because something unbelievable happened during BTS's appearance on the BRU Show. And it all started with what seemed like a harmless question about the mysterious ARIRANG logo. But no one, absolutely no one, expected Jungkook's answer to hit that deep. And today, you're about to uncover the truth behind that moment, the hidden meaning, the emotions, and the reason why fans around the world are still talking about it. Stay with me until the end, because what Jungkook revealed might completely change the way you see him, forever. The studio lights were bright. The atmosphere relaxed, and laughter filled the room as BTS sat comfortably across from the hosts. It was supposed to be another fun, lighthearted interview. The kind armies have seen countless times before. The kind where jokes fly, members tease each other, and Jungkook often smiles shyly before delivering something unexpectedly charming. But that day felt different. There was an energy in the air, something subtle, almost unnoticeable at first. As the conversation flowed from music to global tours, from fan memories to creative processes, the hosts eventually shifted toward a topic that had been quietly gaining attention among fans worldwide: the ARIRANG project. The moment the word ARIRANG was mentioned, something changed. Cameras didn't cut away fast enough to hide it. Jungkook's expression, just for a split second, shifted. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't obvious. But it was there. A flicker of something deeper than curiosity, something personal. And then came the question: Jungkook, we've heard that you were involved in the design of the ARIRANG logo. Can you tell us what it means? Simple, direct, innocent, at least. That's what everyone thought. For a brief moment, Jungkook didn't answer. He looked down, his fingers lightly brushing against each other, as if gathering thoughts that were far more complicated than the question itself. The other members glanced at him. RM leaned slightly forward, watching carefully. V, known for reading emotions better than anyone, kept his eyes fixed on Jungkook's face. The room grew quieter, and then Jungkook spoke, not with his usual playful tone, not with the light-hearted charm fans were used to, but with a calm, almost reflective voice that carried something heavier beneath the surface. He didn't start by explaining the design, that he started with a story. He talked about nights that no one saw, about moments behind the stage, after the lights went out, when the cheers faded and the silence returned. He spoke about the feeling of standing in front of millions, yet still searching for something that felt real. The hosts exchanged glances. This wasn't the answer they expected. Jungkook continued, his voice steady but filled with emotion that didn't need exaggeration to be felt. He described how ARIRANG, to him, wasn't just a concept, or a visual identity, or a piece of branding. It was something deeply rooted in identity, in history, in the idea of carrying something forward even when you don't fully understand its weight. And then he finally addressed the logo. He explained that the circles, those shapes people had been analyzing, theorizing about, recreating across social media, weren't just design elements. They represented connection, not just between members, not just between BTS and ARMY, but between past and present, between who they were and who they were becoming. There was a pause. At a long one point, one of the hosts tried to respond, but stopped midway, as if realizing that anything said in that moment might break something fragile that had just been revealed. Because this wasn't just an explanation anymore, that it was a confession. Jungkook admitted that when he worked on the logo, he wasn't thinking about how it would look to the public. He wasn't thinking about trends, or visuals, or even expectations. He was thinking about the journey, the years of growth, the sacrifices, the moments of doubt that no camera ever captured. And then, he said something that no one in that room could forget. He said that sometimes, people only see the final image, but they never see the emotions that were left inside it. The silence that followed wasn't awkward. It was heavy. You could feel it. Even through the screen, the staff behind the cameras, people who had witnessed countless interviews, countless emotional moments, stood still. No movement, no whispers, just quiet understanding that something genuine had just unfolded in front of them. Meanwhile, armies watching later would describe that moment as unexpectedly heartbreaking. Not because Jungkook was sad, but because he was honest in a way that felt almost too real. And as the camera briefly shifted, you could see the other members reacting in their own ways. RM nodding slightly, as if acknowledging the truth behind Jungkook's words. V looking away for a moment, blinking slowly. Even Jimin, known for his expressive reactions, remained unusually quiet, because they understood they had lived that story with him. But what truly shocked everyone wasn't just what Jungkook said, that it was how he said it. There was no performance, no filter, no attempt to turn it into something interview-friendly. It was raw, controlled, yet deeply emotional. And in that moment, the ARIRANG logo stopped being just a logo. It became a symbol of something far more complex. Something that couldn't be fully explained in words, only felt. The host finally managed to speak again, their voice softer now, almost careful. They thanked Jungkook for sharing that perspective, admitting that it wasn't the kind of answer they had prepared for, but perhaps it was exactly the kind of answer people needed to hear. And just like that, the atmosphere of the entire interview shifted. What started as entertainment had quietly turned into something else. Something deeper. Something unforgettable. But here's where things get even more intriguing, because after the interview aired, fans around the world began to notice details they hadn't seen before. Hidden meanings, subtle expressions, small gestures that suddenly felt significant. And the biggest question began to spread across social media like wildfire. Was Jungkook trying to tell us something more? Or was that moment simply the truth he had been holding in for far too long? What happened next would spark debates, emotional reactions, and theories that no one could have predicted. We're going to dive into the aftermath of that interview. The global reaction from armies, the hidden clues fans believe Jungkook left behind, and the shocking interpretation that might change everything you thought you knew about the ARIRANG project. Oh, don't go anywhere, because the story is far from over. When Jungkook was asked a simple question about the ARIRANG logo, no one expected the atmosphere to suddenly change. What started as a casual interview turned into one of the most emotional and unforgettable moments involving BTS. His answer wasn't just surprising, it left the host speechless, the staff silent, and even the members like RM, V, and Jimin visibly emotional. In this video, we dive deep into the hidden meaning behind Jungkook's words, the emotional weight of the ARIRANG logo, and why fans around the world are still talking about this shocking moment. This is not just an interview. This is a story about identity, pressure, and the untold emotions behind BTS's journey. Watch until the end of part 1, because the truth behind Jungkook's answer might change how you see him forever.